Hello, students. Welcome to another examiner walkthrough video from Diplomaly. This is a Unit 4 case study that we're looking at, which is called SportsZone Fitness Club. And the syllabus content we're going to look at is actually from Unit 1, but it is also very relatable to the marketing unit, where in this particular case, we're looking at a fitness center that is exploring the option of opening online classes. So it is about the challenges and opportunities of starting up a business, but in the context of marketing. So you should have access to this case study already, which is about SportsZone Fitness Club. It is a renowned chain fitness center. They strive to maintain leadership in the competitive fitness industry. They have operated through their brick and mortar fitness center. So brick and mortar is just another word for, or a fancier word for physical branches that they have. Okay, so physical branches or outlets. Okay. And they're now looking at expanding its outreach by adapting to consumer preferences and looking at new distribution channels. This may include launching an online fitness platform to offer virtual workouts, nutritional guidance, and personalized fitness plans. So this would be their business decision, okay, or decision to be made. Remember, when we're looking at case studies, it's always a good idea to use the NDEF framework to help you with it. If you forgot what the NDEF stands for, you might want to take a look at our exam skills video, which will tell you a little bit more about what that is. So let's take a look at the case study question. Okay, this is a 4-marker question, okay, with the command term explain. So because it's a 4-marker and it's a explain question, so it means that this is an AO2 type of question, which normally with an AO2 question, it asks you for the pros and cons of certain things. So let's take a look at what we're being asked. This question is asking you for the advantage, so one advantage and one disadvantage to SFC. So meaning that this requires you to show application. Okay, so you need to link the advantage and disadvantage to the case study of expanding into online classes. Okay, so we're looking at, the benefits basically and the costs for SFC, which currently operates physical outlet branches with online classes. So the way how this is assessed, it's marked as a 2+2, meaning that you get 1 mark for identifying and describing the correct advantage point or the disadvantage point. And then the second mark comes from your ability to develop that advantage or disadvantage point with application to the case study. So the structure of this response is, again, very clear. We're looking at 2 paragraphs. Okay? And each paragraph, you do need to have the advantage and the other paragraph looking at the disadvantage. And for each paragraph, the approach or structure that you want to use is you want to use the PEE plus I, or impact to business framework. Okay, so P is point, E is explaining your point. So in this case, the point would be the advantage point and the disadvantage point that you identify in relation to, opening or expanding into online classes. E would be the evidence from the case. So that is where you need to start demonstrating the application skill. And of course, linking it to the impact of business will also help you demonstrate application skills. Okay. In some of my previous videos, I talked about what these impacted businesses could look like. And just a quick recap is these impacts could include things like impact to an individual. In the case, it could be impact to the founder or the owner of the business. It could be on impact on other various stakeholder groups, such as customers, suppliers, government, pressure groups. You can also think about impact in terms of impact on business functions, so such as impact on marketing, impact on finance and accounts, impact on human resources, or impact on operations management. Okay, so the impact is really up to your sort of development. So you have the flexibility on what you want to talk about in terms of the impact, but you need to make sure that this impact links well with the advantage point that you have identified. But what the point that you cannot really think about creatively is the point, because the point usually does come from the textbook or your notes from your teacher. Okay, these are the theory, okay, the content knowledge that you need to be able to demonstrate. Okay, so let's take a look at a sample exemplar response for this. So, just eyeballing the response, you can see very clearly there are two separate paragraphs. So that's already a very good indication for examiners to give marks out. Remember, it is a 2+2 response. So it means that you get 2 marks for the first paragraph, 2 marks for the second paragraph. So in the first paragraph, you clearly convey in your first sentence the advantage point. So it's always a good idea to rephrase what you're being asked in the case study. So in this case, it's the advantage. So you can start off with one advantage of expanding into the online classes for the company is the ability to reach a broader customer base, okay, and overcome geographical limitation. So what you see here is this is your advantage point, okay, that you have identified. So that's the first step of the PO paragraph, right? And in the second and third sentence, this is where you can then start to blend both the theory and the evidence from the case study to talk about what you mean by the ability to reach a broader customer base. So if you think about it, this business used to be a fitness center that operates in-person fitness training classes, but now they're looking at expanding into online classes, right? So with the online classes, just like many of the e-commerce companies or many, clothing companies that you might have come across, once it's online, once you can start buying things or their products online, now it makes it very easy for people to access it, irrespective of where they live. So this is a benefit for SFC because now their customer base can now be bigger because they can reach out to a broader customer base that is outside of their city or outside of their country. Because anyone who has access to the internet would then be able to have the ability to purchase their online classes. So that is the advantage point, okay? That is very, very clear. So it is related to strategy because it is about growth, but it's also looking at, for example, the marketing implications of having online classes for a company like, a fitness center. So the second sentence says, by offering virtual workouts in fitness centers. So by saying something like this, you're already linking it and showing application because workouts and fitness program, these are all related to, the nature and the context of this case, right? It says an SFC can then cater to individuals who might not have access to a physical fitness center or unable to attend in-person classes. So this part, catering to people who do not have access to physical fitness centers or unable to attend in-person classes, this is expanding on this your advantage point about overcoming the geographical limitation. But now you're taking this advantage point and explaining it in the context of this case, okay? Explaining that it is about people who cannot go to a physical fitness center, people who cannot attend in-person classes. Now they're able to still benefit from SFC services and their online classes through the online platform, okay? And then it links it to say the expansion of these classes can then attract new customer. So what you can see is that here you're linking it to the impact to business. So this customer would be the stakeholder group. Okay, you're linking it to the impact on business. Okay, it attracts people, so that would be a positive impact, which links very well with the advantage that we're talking about. So if you're talking about an advantage point, the impact should also be a positive impact that you link it to, okay? Now, the impact doesn't finish here, right? It actually continues on to say that it increases the membership and generate additional revenue for the company. So what you see here is it went from a marketing implication. So increasing customer would be a marketing implication. And then it talks about how it leads to increase in membership and generate additional revenue stream. This would be a financial implication. So what you can see is that the link to the impact on business is not just about one function of business, but it actually goes and talk about the finance implication as well too. So when you're developing your responses, right, and you're thinking about stretching it to include the impact to business. So going back to here, right, the PEAL or the PEI paragraph, you're looking at the impact on business in terms of stakeholders, and again, in terms of the functions of the business. Okay, so that can then help you add more depth to your 4-mark response. So it's not just theory that you're talking about. Okay, because theory will only get you half of the mark. It won't get you the 2 out of 2. Okay, for the first paragraph. If you take a look at the second paragraph, it starts off with the disadvantage. So again, very clear, conveying to the examiner that I'm telling you about the disadvantage point. And the disadvantage point here is that if SFC were to expand to an online classes, this will have a potential impact on in-person fitness center experience. Now it makes sense because if you think about it, we're talking about fitness centers, and usually fitness centers, we would expect people to want to have that in-person experience, right? Online classes, looking at how people do their workouts, looking at how people, do their stretches and things like that through a video doesn't do just in terms of how you can actually do it. And you don't have a physical person or a trainer at home to help you fix, your movements and your posture and things like that, right? So what this advantage point is raising is it's talking about if SFC were to expand to online classes, they're going to have a bit of a trouble because it might undermine the in-person fitness experience, because at the end of the day, fitness centers is more of a tangible type of service that we're providing to customers, right? So as you can see in the second sentence, it says, well, SFC is a business that revolves around fitness centers. People or members generally benefit from state-of-the-art facilities, in-person guidance from trainer. So this aspect would be particularly important because it considers the nature of the business. So which obviously this demonstrates application. And what you see here is that the student doesn't, or this response doesn't really, quote anything like a direct quote from the actual case study. Okay, it uses the student's general understanding of what the case is. Okay, so the case is about a fitness center, and really thinking about the context. Okay, the context and the nature of this business. This also helps add value to your application when you're writing a 4-marker response like this, because you're showing to the examiner that I'm telling you that I do understand the operations and what's important, okay, in the field or the industry of a fitness center, right? So the in-person aspect is important. And then it says that by diversifying to online classes, okay, so the last sentence here is linking it to the impact, right? There is a risk that members might shift their preferences to virtual workout and not get to experience the full experience at this fitness center, right? And as a result, this might impact their perception of the brand. So here you can see it is a marketing implication. Okay. And what you can also really think about is, because it's talking about the impact on the brand, this might affect, if you really want to stretch your response, it could affect customer loyalty. And if customer loyalty is being affected, it means that customers might switch or brand switch to other rivals. So for SFC, they might then lose their customer base, right? So then they might actually lead to losing customer base, which defeats their initial purpose of expanding to online classes, because their intention is they wanted to reach out to a larger customer base, right? So these are some of the things and perspectives and angles how you can tackle this question. Of course, with a 4-marker question, you do not need to give a conclusion at all. Okay, so just make sure that it's a 2-paragraph response make sure that you use the PE plus I structure and make sure you are very clear with your point in the first sentence, right? And usually this point, again, is from the textbook. It is from your notes, okay? And the development of the point and the application of it will then depend on you, okay? So thank you for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to browse around the Diplomaly site for more resources, and I will see you next time.